Product law, okay? Law of indices. Number 1. 6 law of indices. Law 1, product law. So the word product is because of the multiplication sign. So that's why we call it a product law. Okay, now, how does it go? It goes like this. We all know that if I have something, let's say I have something 4a, no, let me use x power 3 plus 5. So if we were to go ahead and label this, we call this one out a coefficient. Coefficient. We call this one a index or exponent. We call this one a variable or a base, but we also know that it's a variable, that one, okay? Variable. And we call this one a constant. A number without a letter next to it is called a constant. Are we together? It's important for us to understand that language because we are going to use it a lot in indices. Now, let me give you an example here. Example. So if you have 2 power 4 times 2 power 3, what you're going to do, you are only going to take one base. Since the base are the same, take only one base. 4 plus 3. Then you will have 2 power 7. 2 power 7. Are we together? It's like that. So another thing that's important here is this one that normally we don't really talk about. Let's say you have maybe 2x times 2x. So in that case, remember the law say that if the base are the same, add up the index. So we're gonna say 2x plus x, which is equal to 2x power. You see, if you want, you can go ahead and it become 4 power x. Most of you are not familiar with that one, but it's still the product law. Okay, let's continue to law number 2. Law 2. Law 2 is called a quotient law. We can also call it dividing law or a division law. Division law. All together. So this one, that means division, there's a division sign like we have here. We have a power m divided by a power n, which is equal to what? A n minus n. That means divisions, you subtract the index. Multiplication, you add the index. We will always find this common thing in mathematics, that plus will always go with what? Times. And the minus will always go hand in hand with what? Divisions as well. Okay, but we know the opposite of what? Of multiplication is divisions, and the opposite of what? Addition is subtraction. Okay, let's move on. Law 3. Law 3. Okay, let me give first an example here. Let's say we have something like, maybe you have 4 power 2 divided by 2 power 3. So the question, what will be the answer without the calculator? What you're going to do here is you're going to change the 4 to index. 4 to index is 2 power 2. So you literally have 2 power 2. So the whole 4 become a 2 power 2. But there was already a 2 there, so you are going to times those one. And then you say divided by 2 power 3. Then what you do from there, apply the law. This one is a 4, right? So you're going to say the answer will be 2 power 4 minus 3, which is equal to 2 power 1. Normally we don't write 2 power 1, you don't write the 1, but it's still fine. Let's go ahead. Law 3. Law 3 is called a power law. Power law. So let's say I have something like a power m, and outside there's a n. Outside the bracket there's like a small n. That means also n is an index. So this one you just simply what? Multiply the index. A m n, or m times n. Sometimes it's also possible to see this. I'm gonna give you 3 examples here because most of the learner will make a mistake. So let's say I have something like this: a power m over b power m, and then there's a bracket that include everything, power n. In this case, the answer is that a m times n over b m times n, because the n, the bracket that is there, include everything. So then the answer will be a mn over b mn. That's our answer. Okay, but if I was having something like this, example. So let's say I have something like this, maybe a power 4 over b power 3. Then I have something like this, power 2. Now in this case, you can see clearly that the 2 does not include the b. So your answer will just be a power 4 times 2 over b power 3, which gives me a power 6 over b power 3. So bracket, removing the bracket, it will always mean times. So don't forget that. Okay, let's move on to law 4, which is zero index law. Zero. So without knowing the law of indices, you cannot do indices. It's also the same with what? Logarithm. Without knowing the law of logarithm, you cannot do logarithms. That's why the first step is always to know the law. Zero index law. That's our law number 4. So what are you going to do here? It's simply saying anything power 0 is equal to 1. Anything power 0 is equal to 1. Anything. Okay, so meaning if you have something like this, a power 0, then the answer is just 1. If you have a power 0 times a power 2, then that means it's just a power 1 times a power 2, which is just a power 2. Are we together? So let's go ahead to law number 5. Law 5. Law 5 is fraction index. What do you do here now? Fraction index. Okay, so let's say you have something like this, the square root of 4. Now what do I see there? Having written the square root of 4, I can go like this and say, okay, if I were to do that before the calculator, I know that the square root of 4, that means there's a invisible 2 there. That's why we call it the square root, and I have a 4, which can be written as 2 power 2. Then what you should do, your answer will be, without the square root, write the 2, which is the base, write the 2. Okay, let me make this out. Yes, it's fine. 2. Divided by 2, which become 2. 2 power 1, which is just 2. So the law says like this, that if you have a power m and the n outside the root there, what you're gonna do, gonna say a m divided by n. You see that n is the one that's outside, it's the one that must divide the index that is inside the root. Okay, so because of that, I can solve many problems. Like, let's say I have maybe, let me say I have maybe something like this, cube root of 64. Now you are asked to solve that without us using a calculator. What are you going to do now? You're gonna change 64 into as a product of its prime factor, or it's a power of its prime factor. You're gonna do like this. 3. 64 is 2 power 8. 2 power 8. Now that also making me to wonder if there's a square root, cube root of 64. So 2 power 64 is 2 power 3. I mean 2 power 6. Then what you do, you say, okay, this will be 2 6 divided by 3, which is equal to 2 power 2, which is equal to 4. The last law is called the negative index law, law 6. I like the law of indices because they are straightforward. Okay, negative indices law, or negative index law. How does it go? It goes like this: a power negative m. Now can it be written without a negative index as 1 over a power negative power m. Now the negative goes away. I want you to see something here. See it like this, okay? So you have a power negative m. We all know that there's an invisible 1 under, always. Then you just flip it. and then you're gonna say 1 over a power m. That will be the answer. So that means if you have 4, not 4 but 5 power 3, you cannot leave it as 5 power 3. What you're gonna do is 1 over 5 power 3, which is equal to 1 over 125. These are now are the laws of indices. So how many are they? There are 6. There are 6 laws of indices. You must know them. Okay. So what I want us to do now is to continue. I'm gonna put a problem with indices here, and then you're gonna try to apply the laws to solve it. Okay, let's go ahead. So here, let us simplify. Okay, we have 2 examples here that I want us to do. So in this case, you are simplifying, meaning you want to combine that. So what you do, you pay attention to the index, to the coefficient. There's an invisible 1 there. So we're gonna say 4 times 1 give you only 4. Then you come to a power 4, take only one base, minus. You can also say this way plus, because times must, okay, times must become a plus, right? So plus minus negative 7, or plus minus 7, so which is just gonna be 4a negative 3. Now in indices, we do not leave something with a negative index. You must apply the law of negative index. Then you're gonna have something like this: 4 over a power 3. I will together, because the thing is here at the what? At the 4. This done, eh? But here therefore you have something like this: 4 times a power negative 3. All together, it's like that. Now what you're gonna do, you're gonna change this one to be what? To be under 1, so that the 3 can become a positive. So we're gonna have something like this: 4 times 1 over a power 3. That's why it's become, now this, when you multiply out with the 4 times 1 is must 4 all together. But that's the answer. That is the answer. Okay, so now I can erase this one. Let's come here. Now in this case, you have multiple bracket. So what do? If you see at the 3 there's nothing, put a 1. It will help you not to make a mistake, because here we times. You're gonna say 3, your outside bracket is still there, 1 times negative 2, x negative 1 times negative 2, and then the outside bracket negative 1. Then you work out your answer. Or what you can do, you can also just times again with what? 1 negative 1 again. So 3, 1 times negative 1 is most negative 2, so negative 2 times the 1 that's outside, and the x negative positive 2 times negative 1. So your answer will be 3 power negative 2 x power negative 2. We do not leave anything with negative index in index. So what you do, you're gonna now say, remember there's an invisible 1 here, so that one must go on top and this must come down. So we'll have 1 over 3 squared x squared. If they say leave in this form, you are done. But sometimes you may need to continue to work out the number. 1 over 9x squared. That will be the most suitable answer. We are done. Okay, let's look at another example that is a little bit more hard. Okay, let's move on. Let's go ahead and solve this one. Now in this case, what do you have? Different numbers as well. Okay, so what you want to do is always to remove the bracket first, and you can also change this mixed number into what? Into improper fraction. So you'll have 24x, then here you must always times and add the 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 7. So this is 7 over 3 divided by, now the 3 comes here. You see this 3 that's outside, this 3, you have to put a what? A 1 and on top of 6 there, otherwise you'll make a mistake. So you're gonna say gonna be 6 power 3, because you must times 1 times 3, and the x 1 over 3 times 3. Okay, let's go ahead. Now 6 power 3 is a big number. I think it's 216. Let me confirm it on the calculator. So now what you have here is you have 24. Now let's divide it by, okay, let me just do like this. Is I'm gonna change that division to what? To like this. So we're gonna have 24 or x power. Okay, I think you're gonna confuse you. Let's just do it here. So what you have is we have 24 x power 7 over 3 divided by 216 x, because that will just give you x. Okay, then from there, know that there's a 1 here, and division means you must subtract all together. So already, if you say 24 divided by 216, it gives you almost a fraction. Let's press on the calculator. 24 divided by 216, it give you 1 over 9. So write as a fraction now. So 9 is out down and the 1 is on top, but let's not write the 1 until we get the value for x now. 7 over 3 minus 1. So your x, we have 7 minus 7 over 3 minus 1. We all know it's 2.5, that one. Or let's say 3 over 4 over 3. So our final answer will be x power 4 over 3 over 9. We know there's a invisible 1 here, but we don't write it. That's our answer. So consult the YMX textbook, and if you don't have this book, it's important that you get one. Okay, so you can solve this. Thank you very much. This is indices part 1 is done. Now we're gonna continue in our next video. We're gonna continue what indices part 2. So it's also we are going to deal with what equations with indices, or solving equation based indices. And then from there, our video number 3, we are gonna start with logarithm. All right, see you then.